It's been a while since I've uploaded anything. The last thing I uploaded was about that dual amp install in my 79 Thunderbird. Well, a lot's been going on in the past several months. I was a DoorDash driver back then. Then when all the ISU students in Champaign, Illinois went home for the summer, I lost my business and went to work for Plastipack for the summer. And then I went back to driving for DoorDash, and then that old 79 Thunderbird broke down. It had a timing chain break. Well, I got into a rather expensive auto loan at a buy here, pay here dealer in Champaign and got a 2006 Mazda 3, and I started driving for Uber. Well, I did Uber for 1 week, and then that car broke down. The transmission shifter had broke, and I had to spend $160 having it towed home all the way to Farmer City. And then the next day, I got an eviction notice in my mailbox because I hadn't paid my rent for the month of September, and I only had 1 day to move. That eviction notice was served on Sunday, September 29th, and said that I had to be out by October 1st. So I called my brother down here in Trumann, Arkansas, and asked him, hey, can you get in Dad's truck and come up here and get me and take me back down to Arkansas? And he did. So I am out of Illinois, and I am back in Trumann, Arkansas, and I'm here to stay for a while. When I left Trumann, Arkansas 2 years ago, I had two properties that I had bought that were paid for. I paid $2,500 a piece for them. The one next door is a house that I spent 4 years working on, paycheck to paycheck, as I worked in factories and got it fixed up pretty nice. And then I've got this one here that I bought in 2016, and back then I was rolling in dough. I actually had 2,500 sitting in my savings, and that I had actually bought this house outright for $2,500. Well, when I ran off to Illinois, I sold the two properties together on a contract for deed back to the guy that I had bought them from for $15,000. And the guy had a stroke like 10 months later and couldn't make his payments anymore. And he had gotten like 8 months behind. And well, he had been stashing the money. He couldn't make his payments anymore because the only way that I gave him to send the payments was via PayPal. And after the stroke, he couldn't use his phone anymore. But even though he couldn't send me the payments, he was still stashing them. So when I got back down here to Trumann, Arkansas, he gave me like $2,200 in cash. And so that was awesome. And then I sold my old broken down 79 Thunderbird up in Farmer City, Illinois. I had filled out the title and left it in the glove box, and the guy that bought it sent me $400 for the car via PayPal. So I had gotten $2,600 in cash upon coming back to Arkansas. And then I made a deal with the guy I sold the properties to that if he would let me have this one back, I'd give him $2,500 off his contract for deed. And so he took the deal. So now I've got this house back, fully paid for. I own it outright, and I'm going to be fixing this one up to live in. And here is a look at all the bullshit that I'd been storing in this place. Me and my buddy, the guy that I actually bought the properties from and then sold the properties back to, had just been piling it up full of bullshit. And in the 2 years that I've been gone in Illinois, the damn meth heads in the area have come through here and raided this place, just turned it completely upside down, looking for shit to steal. They stole all my damn power tools and a bunch of other tools I had in here. And there's a whole bunch of my buddy's bullshit in here. He told me to just get rid of all this shit, except for he's got these two bins that have like some old family photos in it and kids artwork and some old documents and things. He wants to save those, and he wants to save that glass top table there. But other than that, all the rest of this shit is just junk that he's stashed, that he hasn't touched or even seen in years, hasn't done anything with. So we're just going to get rid of it all. Back here is the kitchen. This is typical of shotgun houses. You've got the living room up front, bedroom in the middle, and then the kitchen back here. This bathroom was crudely added on to and has major structural problems. You can see to the outside there. 3 years ago, when I was working on that house, when I first moved in it, I didn't have the plumbing done yet. So I would come over here and take shits. I actually used to sit my ass down on that toilet in this filthy ass bathroom and take shits. And how I did it was I would bring in a big 5-gallon jug of water to fill up the tank to be able to flush the commode. This is getting torn off. I will be reusing this old ass sink. It's a high back wall mounted sink with separate hot and cold taps. I will be reusing that. I will be reusing that bathtub. I will not be reusing that toilet because those old ass toilets like that are water hogs. So I'll just spend 80 or 100 bucks to get a new toilet. Got structural issues in here to deal with. You can't hardly see because of all the bullshit piled up, but I got some work to do here. The man I bought it from, he started to work on it about 15 years ago. He first bought these properties in 2003, and then probably that year or the year after, he started to fix this one up. He pulled all this new wiring through here, but then he just stopped working on it. And within the past 2 years, while I was up in Illinois, the fucking meth heads came in here and tried to steal this copper wiring out of here. They were pulling it through the ceiling. Now this door, I'm the one that busted this up. I needed the top style out of it to put together one of the doors I put in the house next door. And every last inch of all the wiring in here is coming out, including this newer stuff that my buddy put in. Every last inch of old plumbing pipe is coming out of here. Every last inch of old gas pipe is all coming out, and this is going to be completely rewired, completely repiped. Structural work done. It's going to be all fixed up pretty nice. And I'm tearing that old bathroom off of there and that back porch and putting just an open back porch full width back there. And what I'm going to do to build the bathroom, the new bathroom, is I'm actually going to divide this room off. I'm going to build a divider wall across there and make a 5 by 12 bathroom. The bathtub's going to go there, and it'll go, the bathroom will be basically the width of that bathtub. The divider wall is going to go all the way across here. The washer and dryer are going to go in the bathroom, and then the kitchen will be like a 8 by 12. It'll be 8 foot wide. You'll have a row of cabinets on this side. The kitchen sink will be under the window. We'll be putting in new windows, and I'm downsizing them. These ones back here, I did downsize the windows on the other house. Those are 3 foot by 4 foot windows, put all the way up to the ceiling, and I did put the kitchen sink, because you can see the vent pipe for it. I did put the kitchen sink on that wall in the other house, and I'll be doing the same here. Kitchen sink there with a 3 foot by 4 foot window above it. And I'll be putting in another 3 foot by 6 foot window there in the bathroom. You'll be right next to the tub. You'll have you walk into this kitchen, you'll have a row of cabinets on this side with the sink, dishwasher, water heater's going to go where this pantry cabinet is standing. Then on this side, it'll be boxed in there in the corner where the HVAC system is going to go, because I will be putting central heat and air in this house. The bathroom door will be about right here somewhere, and then the stove and refrigerator are going to go on that wall. And I will be using this 40-inch wide GM Frigidaire electric range. As funny as I bought this range 6 years ago for a different house I was working on, but I ended up abandoning that house. I walked away from it because the person I was buying it from was doing kind of a shady deal. And then I bought that house next door and ended up not using that stove in that house because I got a separate oven and cooktop to put in that one. But now, 6 years later, I'll finally be using that stove. And I'll probably use one of those stainless steel sinks. But yeah, as you can see, I got my work cut out for me. This has been like this. So there used to be a brick flue that came out of here that was exhaust for a wood-burning stove. And there was just a big open hole in the roof. And it was like that for about 15 years. You can see all the leaves and junk that had blown in. It had been like that for over 15 years. Although the wall is still nice and solid, so I guess it didn't rot anything out. But that doesn't surprise me because this whole house is built out of cypress lumber. Although the water intrusion up on that ceiling did cause some sagging and cause some of the ceiling tiles to fall out. As you can see, you've got some crappy thin like veneer paneling tacked up to the walls. It was a very common crude fix back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s on old houses like this that had plaster walls. If the plaster was cracking, they just put paneling over it. This closet here, this is not original to the house. These houses didn't originally have closets. Somebody had framed that in and put that up. And I will be getting rid of that. So yeah, if those of you that subscribed for videos of Sarah, well, I'm sorry, there won't be any videos of her anytime soon. She's laying up in bed in my mom's apartment right now. That's where we're currently staying, is in a spare bedroom in my mom's apartment. There probably won't be any more videos of Sarah until I get this house fixed up to a point where I get it livable and we get moved in over here. But I'm hoping that that won't be too far away, because once I get the structural issues taken care of, I get the power turned on and get this place cleaned up and a few other things done, I'd like to set this front living room up like a motel room. Have a bed in here, a TV, a mini fridge, a microwave, and just live in this front bedroom while I work on the rest of the house. So hopefully that'll be within the next couple of months. But yeah, at least whenever we get to that point, we'll have our own paid-for place to live in again. And this time around, if I ever want to move back to Central Illinois or somewhere else, I'm not doing so until I got another place bought and paid for, because I never want to rent again. You know, when I first started this channel, I was living in that piece of shit old rundown trailer in Decatur, Illinois, on rental land that I had no control over, and I was uncomfortably close to fucking dope heads and idiots had to put up with the sounds of domestic violence, booming car stereos, and drug trafficking around me. And then in that apartment in Farmer City, I got evicted for missing one damn month's rent with only 1 day notice. I'm not putting up with that kind of shit again. Once I get this place to a point where I can live in it, I ain't never fucking renting again. But yeah, that's what we've been up to. Well, what I've been up to anyway. This is what I've been working on the past couple weeks. All this trash I raked out from under this house. That 5-gallon bucket there was under there too. Whole bunch of garbage from decades. Found a bunch of Coke cans and caffeine-free Coke cans from the 80s. A bunch of tin pipe tobacco cans. I've been busy today getting the old plumbing pipe out from under there. It's got old cast iron waste lines and a mix of copper and galvanized supply lines. I'm also going to be cutting all the old wiring off of it. I put this new electrical service on it. I've already had it inspected and approved. I'm just waiting on the power company to come out, run a new line to this house, and put the power on. You can see the outline of where the original service equipment was. The power line that went to this house was knocked out in a big ice storm we had back in '09, but the house has been vacant since 2001 or 2002. So when the old power line was knocked out by the ice storm, they never bothered to run a new one. And shortly thereafter the power line was knocked out, the crackheads in the neighborhood ripped the old meter base and service box and everything off of it. Old Pepsi and root beer bottles. All of this came out from under the house. All that stuff was just piled up under there. Took me 2 days to clean out from under here. And I built this new porch on here. I also cut away a bunch of overgrowth. And my next project with that is to take that axe back there and finish cutting away all these stumps. The old porch on here was ready to fall in and it looked like shit. There's all the shit that I hauled off the property, drug out for the city to pick up. That pile right there is the old porch. There's some of the old galvanized pipe I cut out of there. I put that in separate piles for the scrap collectors to take. And all this concrete bullshit that I hauled off the property and out from under the house. And this old bathroom back here is going to be getting torn off. And I'm going to be putting an open back porch back here. You see, you got a major structural problem here. You can actually see up inside that bathroom. And then we got a little back porch area here. But, you know, this ends up in this bad a shape because this was poorly built to start with. These old shotgun houses in this town, when they were new, they didn't have bathrooms on them. They had 2 cedar outhouses in the backyard. Well, when the outhouses were banned and the city sewer system was put in, these bathrooms were often crudely added to this house, and people would just enclose the back porch to make a bathroom. And they don't realize you can't do that. You can't just enclose a porch to make a room, because the foundation of a porch is not built to take the load of a room. You gotta restructure it. You gotta tear it off and make a new foundation. Now, a couple of years ago, I did that house right there. That was the first house I renovated, and I actually lived in it for a while before selling it and running off to Illinois. And back there, I tore that whole back of that house off, and I restructured that. I built a new foundation. I reused the original pier blocks from the old back porch, but I reused the roof over the back porch, but I actually reframed a new foundation, made that beam there with 4 2x12s bolted together, and ran from there to the back of the house new 2x6 floor joists spaced 16 inches on center. Now this one here, when I tear this old bathroom off, I'm actually going to put an open back porch back here, and I'm going to divide off the kitchen to build a bathroom. And you can see I got more structural work to do. This whole back floor joist is rotted out, and this joist here is sitting halfway on this 8x8 beam, and you can see up inside that kitchen and I forgot to take before pictures of what this property looked like a couple weeks ago when I bought it back. I've still got the folder full of pictures I took when I first bought it in 2016, but when I come back from Illinois about 3 weeks ago, and I come and seen this house, it looked a lot worse. The overgrowth had gotten a lot worse, and there was more trash piled up on the property.